Crafters, it's me, Jen Evers with Quality Crafts, and welcome to another Free Play Friday. Now, I know it's going to take a few minutes for everyone to get in here that wanted to join because I had to take my cat Liney to the vet, and I don't normally involve a lot of personal stuff into things. Hi, Veronica and Crafty, Kitty, and Susan. I'm so glad you guys hung out for me. Thank you so much. But I do want to let you guys know that I took Liney in. I'm going to move this out of the way. And everything's fine. His hyperthyroidism is still there. He may possibly have some kidney issues, but he's getting older, so that's expected. And we're going to be taking care of that with some medication. No big deal. So moving on, apologies and thank you so much for those of you who waited for me. This is going to be really, really exciting. Hi, Mary Maloney and Glenna and Lori and Kelly. We're going to do Yupo paper and alcohol inks today. So what I'm actually titled this is, every one of the series, whether we go 4 weeks or 5 weeks, or if this gets extended, depending on what we are, enjoying and want to see more of. While I'm yakking, I should probably put out some of the examples that we've been doing. Hi, Sherry and Tarita. So, the whole beginning of the series is called Alcohol Inks and Yupo Paper. But today is specifically getting your inks moving, techniques, and tools. So we're going to be talking about, we're going to be using Yupo paper, which is what this one is. I think this one is as well. Yupo paper, this one is not. If you want to know more of the alternatives and things that you can do for cheaper, and if you're on a budget, go back and watch video number one, because that'll all be listed there. That was a super fun video too. I hope you guys will check it out. And then video 2 today, like I said, we're going to be getting that ink moving, and we're going to be talking about techniques and tools. And I'm going to get just about everything in that I can get in within an hour. I'm starving because I haven't had anything to eat for dinner, and I usually eat around 3. So let's get started. We're going to start out right away with Yupo paper. And it comes in like a booklet of paper kind of thing, sort of like this one. Let me show you. This one is what we talked about in video 1. It's called Duralar. If you're looking for something that's a little bit cheaper, these are 9 by 12 sheets instead of 5 by 7. You get 25 of them, and they're only $14.99 on Amazon. So if you want to get this one, this totally works. But like I said, if you want to know more about the alternatives and stuff, definitely check out number 1 in this series. This is my stash of Yupo paper right here, so this is what we're going to get started with. Hi, Danielle and Elise. So somebody mentioned to me at some point that there was a shiny side and a dull side, but when I look at it, it looks the same on both sides to me. So I'm just going to go ahead and pick one side and see if I can get you in a little bit closer, because we're going to be dropping ink on here, and we're going to be moving it around. And I've got my little cheat sheet here so I don't forget to go over some of the stuff that can move it around. So the first thing we're going to do is just start dropping some ink on there and watching what happens when we don't add anything, just ink. And the supplies that we'll be using today and in most of the videos that we're working on this will be listed below. I am an Amazon affiliate, so any purchases through the links, and you don't have to purchase the exact product through the exact link. You can go in through any one of those links and purchase products. And I always kid around, you can buy underwear for your husband, or cat food, or kitty litter, whatever you need to buy. But see how the color just keeps spreading out? And I keep playing with the settings because I'm trying to get things a lot more clear for you, and I'm just not that great at it. That looks pretty good. But the edges are kind of bumpy, and you're not seeing that. So I'm kind of bummed that that's not coming through on your end. Ah, there we go. That looks better. That's more of what I'm seeing. Let me go ahead and save that, and we'll move forward and see if that... I don't know if that's changed on the other. I'll give it some time because we've got lag. But it looks... Now on my screen, it looks like I'm seeing here. So we've got some color on here, and it's spread out somewhat, right? But we're going to add some more dots. And then we're going to add some dots to dots and all that good kind of stuff. And see what happens to these colors. Oh yeah, it's totally looking so much better. And I'm just using random colors. When you play around with yours, you can add whatever colors you want, whatever you think looks good. Maybe you're planning on using it as a background for a project. And notice what happens when one color meets another color. Just kind of whatever color you put on top is like, I'm the boss and you will move out of my way. See this one right here? Red will move out of my, or pink will move out of my way. Red, blue, and it just kind of pushes it out of the way. Oh, right in the beginning of the video I mentioned how Liney is. He's okay. I took him in because they wouldn't give me any more medication for his thyroid because it'd been like over a year. I mean, no offense, and I love my cat, but vet bills are so crazy expensive. So today it was just $200 to run his labs. $200 for that. I just think it's, last time it was more like $400 or $500, so I guess this was better. Anyways, now it's starting to not look like the right colors. Let me go back in and yeah, like this color right here, that's much more vibrant on my end. Ooh. Sorry guys, I'm just playing around with it. Those blues like look exactly the same on your screen. They are totally two different blues on mine. My apologies, I'm monkeying with it. Like I said, I'm not 100% great on that kind of stuff. What else do I want to put? Okay, so now that we've seen like how they spread, like I just let those sit, right? And we put some, but now let's put some like right directly like inside some of the other ones. What color is this one? Eggplant. Let's go ahead and drop like eggplant inside a couple of these blues. These ones that I'm putting inside of are like a turquoise color, and that's not coming through for you guys. I don't know why. But looks cool, right? So then if we want to move this stuff around, we can start adding in things. Like this is the Holtz Spritzer. This is going to be labeled below too. So if you spritz it and it's still wet, you can get some really fun looking movement with that ink. So I'll put down a couple, and while it's still wet, we'll give them a couple of sprays and see what happens. Do you see that? How they're just like spreading out like that? That's really cool. You can even add in a couple of like brown colors. This one is ginger. I should probably be telling you the colors, huh? Totally fun and addicting. I could not wait to get home to do this with you guys. This is so much fun. So now we've got stuff on there, right? And we've used the spritzer. I'm going to grab another one. We're going to do some other fun stuff, and I'm just going to set that one to the side. So the spritzer works really well because you can just, you know, hand do it. Now let's say you have to grip this and squeeze this pretty tight. And you might have a problem with your hand, and maybe this is not the way to go. Another way that you can go is using like a heat tool. So if you use a regular embossing gun, heating embossing gun, I'm going to show you what happens with that. I'm going to put a couple of drops on with that, and then I'm going to turn my heat gun on, and this is what it looks like. What is mine? It's a, I wanted to say it was a Marvy, but I don't think it is. It doesn't say. It says electric heat tool. And I got a little spread there, but I did a little bit too much yakking. So let's add a little bit more. What color is this? Indigo. Let's add some indigo. So I'm not ignoring you guys if you guys are putting down ideas. I have a whole list of ideas I'm going to do. So yours might pop up there. Okay. So there you get the idea of how that can go. And I'm going to grab maybe like, what is this, a lime green? What is this one? Citrus. And I made an actual straw. Let's see. I made a straw on one of my markers that I like tore apart to make my DIY alcohol inks. If you want to know how to do that, that's in series number 1 of this series, so check that out. And then I'm going to add this citrus, and I'm going to use my homemade straw. So this is the barrel of an Ohuhu marker. If you're looking for cheap, excellent alcohol markers, check out my link to these. They're about 50 cents a piece, and they have 2 different ends, a tiny end and a chisel end. And they work really well. But I just cleaned this out and ran water and alcohol through and cleaned it so that there wouldn't be any alcohol ink left in it. And I'm using this as a straw. It dries really fast, especially if you're using the heat tool like I did, because it's alcohol, so the heat is like, it's blowing it around, but it's drying it at the same time. So there we got a whole bunch of movement and a lot wider movement with that straw. Do a little bit of this. This is Sunshine Yellow. So I got kind of like a really little, like a sunshine spray through there. Do you see that? That looks really cool. So every time you make something, you're going to end up with a different look. And that is what I find so fascinating about this. And I like the quick puffs that come out of the spritzer, because then you get some more like little lines and stuff. This time I didn't. Depending on how you blow it. Like this one that I originally blew, like that one where it just exploded out. I like those little lines. Some people like to just drop them on and do the circles, and that looks really cool too. And then you can do, another way to move it would be to pounce, and I'm sure you guys have seen them dump their alcohol inks on these felt pads. And all I do is just take mine. This one's been heavily used, so I'm going to get rid of that so it doesn't reactivate those colors. I've got some, there we go, some already pre-cut here, and I just buy my own felt. It ends up to be pennies, really. So with this, you can put other inks on here and move the ink around. So let's go ahead and do that first. And then I'm going to introduce the alcohol blending solution. And we're going to do a little bit of that. So this is Stream, and let's do this one, Purple Twilight. And we'll see what it looks like before we add the blending solution or anything like that. If you just pounce it all around, it's going to go just like that. And look, it's still spreading. So if we add a little bit of this blending solution, you'll see how much more it spreads and the different looks you get when you add a little bit of that. Now let's go ahead and dry that, because when you put stuff on top that's dry versus when it's still wet, you're going to get a different outlook. Now that stream color in that is not showing up very well on this camera at all. And Yupo paper definitely will, if you heat it too long in one place, it'll start to buckle. I have a flower that I made to show you that. So the flower got put together, and then do you see how it just kind of buckled? And I did that on purpose for the flower. There's all buckled up there to get that look so that it wasn't so perfect, and I like that. So you can get that look if you want it. So now I'm going to put this wet back on. Do you see how it's making that funky little pattern again? Check that out. Let me go ahead and pounce this a couple of more times so you can see. And that pattern grows because I'm adding wet onto it and redoing it. Oh, thanks, Penny. Penny did, what's it called? Super Chat. And let's say I didn't like what was underneath there, you know, I can pounce right over the top of these colors and mix that in there and get a whole nother look. Let me go ahead and go in there. I feel like I've got the color intensity too high that you can't see the difference. That looks a little better. That is really cool. I like the way those light colors are kind of peeking out of there. That's much different than anything I've seen before. Now, we're already talking about, we've done just plain dots here. We've done the pouncing and the blowing. So we're moving our ink around with different kind of things. Now, if we just put plain old blending solution on here, oh, my white balance keeps changing. I wonder why. Let me go ahead and save that. I'm just going to pour a little bit of this alcohol blending solution on here so you can see what happens. I'm going to put it on this dark blue spot right here. Do you see it lightening up? And it'll still move too. Do you see that? See what happened there? So you can continually get more and more movement. Let's say I didn't like this was too dark too. I could go ahead and move that around as well. So today we're focused on not a lot of like really cool different kind of techniques, but more of the technique of how do I get the ink to move? What can I do with that and stuff? So Elna wants to know, what is a blending solution? Blending solution is, oh, it even says on the side, so alcohol blending solution is specially formulated to blend, lighten, and remove Tim Holtz alcohol inks. This solvent-based solution is also designed to remove alcohol inks and mixatives from slick surfaces and art tools. So if you wanted to like erase part of this, you could erase part of this. It might not come out 100%, but let's see what happens. We'll try to use it for that. And then if you want to know exactly what the what's in it, I can look that up. We can look up that up too. Let's start on this corner over here. I just stuck my fingers in it. Need a baby wipe. Look at that. I got 2 purple fingers now. That's all right. So let's go ahead and take this alcohol blending solution and just wipe it over this. Almost like an eraser, right? I mean, there's still some in there that's stained, but check that out. That's pretty cool. Look at that neat look. If you do this on acetate, it will also remove it, which is totally cool. So let's take off this one that I used to remove and let's put this one back on. And then I can go back over that again. Let's say, oh wow, yeah, I didn't really want that. I want there still to be some color in here. So I'm going to pounce that back over again. This is still a little bit wet with that color, and I'm going to add in just a little bit more. Totally cool, right? Like, oh, there's just so much to do with these things. You guys are going to have so much fun in this series. I am going to go over a little over 6 o'clock today. I hope you guys don't mind, which I started out late. Purple and green. What is your favorite alcohol ink color? That's a good question. I'd love to see what you guys have to say about that. Okay, so now that we've got that one going, and that one looks really, really cool. It's so stunning in person, you guys. You have to try it and see what you end up with. I mean, when I lift it up and show it to you a little bit closer like this, you can see more of what's going on there. But in person, it's just absolutely stunning. Let me go ahead and use this now. Another way to move it would be to just use straight alcohol. So I'm going to look for my little bottle here. This one is my bottle of straight alcohol. I have another one too, though. Where is my little teeny bottle that I created? I had everything set up last night just in case I was late, and I was late, so I'm glad. But that one has escaped me. I must have forgot to set it out. So we'll use this one. This one is straight alcohol. It's 91%. I'll show you the bottle it came out of, just in case you're wondering. It looks just like this. 91%, okay? It's just alcohol. I want you guys to see the difference between what happens with alcohol and what happens with blending solutions. So let's put some alcohol in there. Just straight alcohol. I'm going to spray it on. You see the lightning that's happening there? The higher up you go, the lighter of the drips you're going to get. You can also put it on. Penny gave me some new little pipette, so I'm going to use a little pipette here. We can drip it on. So more like the blending solution. So that's right there in the dark spot. Let's see what happens when we roll that around a little bit. It reactivates that ink and makes it movable again. I think that we want a better view of that. So let's go ahead and do this. We'll start out with another piece here. I'll set these guys aside because we're going to want to check on those at the end and see what happened to them as that moves. Okay, so here's another one. Let's go ahead and do, as we would say, what, apples to apples. So this is citrus. I'm going to put a couple drops there and a couple drops there. And on the left, I'm going to put the alcohol blending solution. 2 drops. We're going to watch that go. And then on this side, I'm going to put pure alcohol, 2 drops, and see that go. Do you see the difference? Oh, Penny, I'm glad you brought that up. I said that in the first series video. Do not spray the blending solution. Like, I have this alcohol in a spray bottle. This stuff right here, this alcohol blending solution, never, ever, ever, never spray it. Don't put this in a spray bottle. This has to stay in its bottle. Don't mess around with that. So do you see what the difference is? The blending solution, like, really spreads it out. The alcohol acts almost like a bleach, really. I wanted you guys to see that difference. It's really, really kind of cool. Let me go ahead and do it with one other color. What's this one? This one is cranberry. 1, 1. So we'll do 1 drop and 1 drop and see what happens. I don't know if I'll be able to get just 1 drop out of this, but let's try. 1. Whoops, I got 2 drops. We'll do the same on this side. 2 drops. Accidentally got 3. Do you see the difference in there? The blending solution definitely spreads your ink out more. So if you want to be spreading it out and moving it more, that really spreads it out. The alcohol ink will act more like a remover. Oh, another thing I wanted to show you was the e-brush. I wanted to play around with that. And I haven't had a chance to, so I'm going to do that right now with you guys right here. And we're going to put on some blue. We're going to put the indigo on. Do I have another blue? It's kind of a little eggplant. I think we used that one. Let's go ahead and use the indigo so we can see how far it goes. It's a nice dark color. So I'm going to turn the e-brush on. Could you hear that little noise? I wonder what made that noise. It's so weird. Move my spritzer out of the way too. I think I'm going to turn it up high. Okay, so this is my e-brush. Like, oh, I think that my camera came undone. 1 second, guys. You can hear it, but you're not seeing me move around in there anymore. You can see me up here, but my other camera just locked up. I don't know why. Like, give me a chance to reset that. I've never had that happen before. I must have bumped something, but I don't see anything has moved other than my little glue bottles. So let me move those and see if I can reset that quick. It's still showing the page, but it's not showing anything moving. Technical difficulties, please stand by. I'm working on it, guys. I don't know what happened. Nothing got bumped. Like, everything's solid plugged in, but my computer just turned off one of the cameras. Would have been better if this camera went off, because the other one, yeah, the wires are all plugged in. Everything's good, because I use in the webcams, they're all in. Everything's plugged in. They're all solid. I don't know what happened here. Face one's working good. Let's see. Let me just go ahead and unplug it and see what happens. I unplugged it and plugged it back in, but nothing happened. I think what I'm going to have to do is, wow, I don't know why that happened. I'm kind of bummed. I'm going to turn this one off, and then I'm going to restart the live so that I can restart everything so it comes back up. All right? I think that'll work. So hang on tight. I'll be right back. I believe we're back. So I'm going to wait for you guys to tell me that you hear me and see me and that everything is good. And then we'll keep going. And so far, I haven't... There we go. I'm back. I'm back. And I'm moving. Thank you guys so much for hanging out and waiting. Man, I have loyal fans here. I'm really excited. Okay, I am going to do the e-brush. I'm going to try one more time. If the e-brush is the reason why everything got nixed, then we won't be able to use that, and I'll just come back, okay? So don't panic. I'll come back if this knocks it out again. Okay, here we go. I'm going to go ahead and put the Indigo on. Alright, couple drops. And then let's start spraying and seeing what happens. Look at that. I could also use this just to dry. It's a very cool, you know, instead of heating, it's very cool. So it's not going to burn anything, or burn you for that matter. But that turned out really cool too. If you've got a regular e-brush or airbrush machine, that would be even better. I got a couple wires crisscrossed here that I'm going to have to change later on. But that gives you those little squirrels too. You can do that with your own, you can do that on your own too. So let's see what else we have. Like maybe an orange here. Yeah, sunset orange. So we'll put down a little bit orange and we'll just use manual breath. Ready? Very cool. Let's do another one of those. Oh, look at that. Looks like little toes right here. Little toes. So is my big fat head in the way, or could you kind of see that? That's kind of fun. That's funny. I looked up and someone said, "We'll return after a word from our sponsor." So cool, right? Okay, I'm going down my list. Next thing we have on here would be dripping, tilting, and running kind of stuff. So that turns out really cool too. You can use the alcohol blending solution for this, or you can use straight alcohol. It doesn't matter. So let's go ahead and do a little bit of Purple Twilight. I'm using Yupo paper, and like I said at the beginning, I'm not sure if there's a difference in sides because mine, both of my sides look matte. So, this is just Yupo paper, whatever side you want to use. And I'm just gonna add some alcohol here and run that down with the purple. Check that out. Super fun, super cool. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. That was straight alcohol. And then let's go ahead and dry that just a little bit. Here's another heat tool that is good for drying and not necessarily completely blowing things around. It's the Heat It Craft tool. I really like this tool. It's going to move it around just a little bit, but the higher up you go, it's just going to really basically dry things mostly in its tracks so you can get that look that you were going for. I just want to dry it enough so that I can tilt from the other side, because I want to run some down this side now, and I want to use the blending solution to run this side. So let's pick maybe a bright, let's pick Sailboat Blue. I don't know what caused it. Oh yeah, Halloween backgrounds, Tracy. Oh my gosh, that'd be so cool. So here's some drips of blue. And we're going to add a little bit of blending solution to that. Look at that go. Penny said there is no difference in sides. I didn't think there was. I took a really good long look at this before I started, and I couldn't find any difference. They both look very matte. So now I've got this really cool like overlapping thing in the middle that looks awesome. So we've got adding alcohol. The other thing that you can do is you can start moving this around with different tools that you have. So the technique of moving stuff around, like I've got some Q-tips here. I'm going to go ahead and just put a little bit of alcohol from my little dripper here and just wet this whole thing. This is just alcohol now. And I'm going to go in here and move some of this around. And I'm kind of twirling it around so it'll pick up some of that ink. You can draw with it and do all kinds of stuff. Look at that pretty purple. So let's say, well, I might want to use this later, so I might want to take and color in some of, maybe some of these little spots here, just because, let's say, okay, this time around, I just don't want to leave any white. And I don't want it to all be purple, so let me go ahead and re-wet this one. I'm using straight alcohol right now, and let's say I want to restart up, reactivate like this orange color, and then I can do that in the corner and I can move that around. Mixing it into the blue a little bit. And the fun thing about this, guys, is that, you know, if you get this in here and you're like, gosh, that really looks bad, like I wasn't going for that look, or this is so, it's so icky in there, I don't like the look of that, you can go ahead and put in some lighter colors. So let's go ahead and do that. I think that's a little bit dark. I want to add a little bit of yellow. I want to add some sunshine yellow. And maybe some citrus green. I think this one's the citrus, yeah. And then I'm going to do some more pouncing down the center and see if I can get a different look there. I'm going to add my alcohol blending solution to this because I'm going to want this to move around a little bit more. I want to spread out some of that blue. I just feel like that center just isn't what I was going for. So I'm just going to just go down the center and see if I can't move some of that around. And look at that brightening up already. Right down the middle. Now that's a look I could go for. I don't want that to keep spreading too much. I'm going to add a little bit of heat and be like, stop! Stop moving! I like that. That looks really cool. I want a couple of little spots in there, so I'm going to heat as I go and hope that that heat will stop that alcohol in its tracks, that blending solution, so that I can keep some of those little dots that I like in there. It looks so cool. Otherwise, it's just going to continue to spread out. So there we go. Add a little bit of heat right afterwards, so I can keep that really cool look that I was going for. So heat is your friend if you're looking to stop the movement. Look at that really cool turnout. Oh my gosh, that looks so cool. Totally awesome. Where are we at with time? We're doing okay. We're doing okay. All right, let's see. Okay, so Q-tips I went over. Let's see if we can do, what I want to do is try to use a Q-tip, or not a Q-tip, a toothpick to go in and in these like lighter areas make like some little dots. We could do that in here too. So instead of using the blending solution, I'm going to just go ahead and put a little puddle of straight alcohol on my mat here, it's hard to see, but there's a little puddle here. What I'm going to do is just dip that in there, and then I'm going to come on here and put little tiny dots of it. Now, I don't know if you're going to be able to see quite how well you'll be able to see that. But I can drip it on there, or I can put it on there and kind of move it around. This will also move your ink, and it will give you a really cool look. I'm going to bring that up too. Neat, right? So you can put little, your own things in there just the way you want them. Now, if you want bigger ones, you can use the Q-tips, but if you go really big, it's gonna keep spreading. So let's do a dot here and see what happens. If everything's dry, it won't spread as much, but if you do it when it's wet, it's definitely gonna move. So keep that in mind. So I'm just going like right back over those again. Now imagine if this was really wet when I did that. Those dots would probably continue to grow. So if you want to do little dots like that, you want to make sure that your background is really dry before trying to move that. Do that moving technique. Another thing that you can do that's really similar to that is using Stylus. If you've got a bunch of these, I dropped something else. Got the dropsies tonight. Stylus, things like this, and I think this McGill set is listed below, but look how teeny tiny these end up going. I mean, the balls can be quite large, but you can get some really teeny tiny looks from there too. So let me put a little bit more of a puddle because I soaked it all up already. You can see the shine. And use this little teeny one to make some teeny tiny dots. Oh my gosh, you can hardly see these. I don't know if you're going to be able to see these at all. I'll put a whole bunch of them in here and then I'll hold it up. That one is super tiny. Can you see those itty bitty teeny tiny dots there? I mean, you can get some major detail with that too. Really, really fun. So Stylus are a really good way to do that. Q-tip, stylus, toothpicks. What else do? We use the sprayer, the spritzer. We use the e-brush. We used a straw. We've got a ton of other stuff. What else do I have left? We did the alcohol versus the blending solution. We did the pouncing. We did the heat tool. This one looks really cool. Let me bring in what we've covered tonight. Oh, look what happened to this one after we let it sit. It just continued to spread, and it made like a bunch of lines through here. That's interesting. That one's really cool. Okay, I'll back up just a tad here. Alright, move my tools out. Didn't we have just that one other one? Here it is. This one's my favorite. Ooh, a feather soaked in solution. I think if you did that, Tracy, you want to make sure you don't use too much, because if you slap that feather down with all that solution, it may just keep blooming, and then you won't get that detail I think that you're searching for. But I like the way you're thinking outside the box. That's a really cool idea. Give it a try and then show us in KTC what you come up with if it works for you. I would love to see that. That'd be so neat. Yeah, for sure. Give it a try. I love that idea. This is still a little bit too dark for me. I think I want to go in there and see if I could put some pink in there. Let's try that. I'm almost out of these pre-cut, so I'm going to have to cut some more for the next video, I think. Do a bright pink. What is this one? This one is Wild Plum. Let's try that one. So some dots of Wild Plum. And then I'm going to add blending solution to this one. Maybe not as much as I added last time. That's okay. And then just pat this in here. Oh, 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 where's my gun? That's what dropped. My heat gun went a-flying. Those kind of went a little bit too big for me. Let's add some to this one too. I just love the look of that. You can also flick it. I don't have a toothbrush handy, but if you've got a toothbrush, you can like flick it too. But it works well if you spray it too. That looks kind of cool. You can see some of that pink coming through there. Neato. Oh yes, the backside of photo paper works. Please, please go watch the first in this series if you want to know about alternatives and other things that you can use, because Yupo paper and the alcohol inks may be a little bit out of your price range right now. And if you can only get 3 colors, like if you can only afford to buy 1 pack of Ranger alcohol inks, I highly suggest the one that gives you like the 3 primary colors, because then you can mix them. And they're going to turn into all the other funky colors. So you're going to get a way wider range than what you initially thought you would if you just get 1 pack. So I've also got all these other colors that I made with alcohol inks and stuff. So if you want to make your own, and they're usually a lot lighter than the ones that we buy, but you can make your own DIY. Check out that first video if you want to know how to do that. Oh, here's my straight alcohol. So I put some of these into droppers. I have to be able to get this one unscrewed. That's why I was having a hard time with it. I have to break that seal. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and drop a straight alcohol on here and see what happens. I'm gonna do it on this one. I know we did it before, but now I'm just going to do 1 drop. See what's happening there? It's moving and lightening at the same time. Right there. It's almost like opening a window inside of what you just created. To see what's underneath. To like magnify what was there. The other one I just dropped is right here. Look at it move. So much fun. I am completely, thoroughly addicted to this. You can also make your own DIY blending solution. We're going to go over that next time. I hope that you will join me. This has been so much fun. I can't wait to do the next one. If you've got questions, comments, things that you might want to see, or something that you heard of, or stuff like that, I will be going over even more techniques in more detail next time. So the first one, of course, was going over things that you could use, alternatives and budget-friendly ideas and DIYs. This one was about just getting your alcohol moving, how you can move it, different ways to move it, techniques to move it, and tools that you can use to move it. And this was really super fun. Susan says, I feel like I'm looking at cells through a microscope. It is so much fun, you guys. It's really, really cool. So both of the stores are now open and working just fine. Go to the original one at qualitycrafts.com and the new store at jensqualitycrafts.com. We are going to be starting to eventually into the summer and stuff, showing you more of the product that's in the new store. And what else did I want to mention to you guys? Lives are always Wednesday and Friday at 5 p.m. Apologies for today for having to start a little bit late. And if you missed it, my cat is fine. He has hyperthyroidism. He's on medication. We just went in for some routine blood tests, and he is just going to be okay until he gets much, much older. He is about, she said, 13 to 15 years old, according to his teeth. Oh, Tracy got a feather. So jump on over to our group, which is drama-free and commitment-free, over on Facebook. You don't have to like do swaps or do this or do that to remain in the group. You can just come and hang out and be inspired. There's lots of things going on there. If you want to be in the other private group where we do monthly envelope challenges and things like that, join us on Patreon, patreon.com/koalitycrafts. You can find us there. Yeah, so definitely would like to see you in the Quality Crafts group. I will take a photograph of this and I will start an album there so that if you're joining me in this series, you can start popping all of your makes from these techniques into that album. We want to see what you're doing. It's going to be so fun to see what everyone else does. These are ones I did today. They look nothing like the ones I did before. Every time I open these up and use them, whether they're the DIY or not, I get something new each and every time. So if you're kind of tired of doing the same old cards and the ones that look like everyone else's, they will never look like anyone else's, which is the exciting part. So go ahead and join us there. There's a couple newer links and stuff that Susan is putting in. That's awesome. So we're always happy for Susan and Penny to show up. They're our moderators. That is really cool. A lot of people showed up tonight. Hit that thumbs up on your way out so that YouTube knows that you like this kind of video so that it can be seen by more and more people. And I'll see you next week on Wednesday and Friday because I can't wait to see you guys next video.